Hi guys, it's Jasmine here. In this video, we are going to be talking about your pre-care for your eyebrow tattooing. So before you get your eyebrows tattooed, there's a few things that you want to follow before you go ahead with your treatment. So again, we need to think about the skin as our canvas. If the canvas is compromised, this will affect the treatment plan of your permanent makeup. When I say compromised, I'm talking about things that are going to stop the treatment from going ahead, such as if you have sunburn, if you have a medical condition within the eyebrow such as psoriasis, eczema, this will stop the treatment plan. We also need to think about medication that you're taking. If you're taking strong medication, if you're on Roaccutane or warfarin, again, this would be a contraindication to the treatment due to the medication making the skin very thin, which means you are going to bleed and you're going to be very, very sensitive to any needle treatments. So you have to, if you are on any strong medication and you feel like maybe I could get this treatment done, you will have to consult your GP before you go ahead with this treatment, just to make sure you're all okay to go ahead, and then we can get that signed off with your treatment plan. If you have any strong skincare, chemical peels, laser around your skin and eyebrow area, we have to take this into consideration before your eyebrow tattooing. If you do get regular skin treatments, which is very common, we will have to tie in so it will work. For example, you don't want to have a microneedling treatment and the day after get your brows tattooed, because the skin is going to be very sensitive and the microneedling treatment has to run its course before going in with any more needles. So what we could do, for example, you could have the microneedling or the chemical peel. 4 weeks later, just before your next treatment, we can go in with the eyebrow tattooing, because the skin would have recovered, and then we can let your skin person, whoever's doing your treatments, let them know to avoid the eyebrow area. So there's ways around it that we could work with your other treatments that's going on. Say, for example, you have a scar in your eyebrow. As long as the scar is flat and white or lighter than your surrounding skin, we can go ahead with the treatment, but just bear in mind, scars are very tricky when it comes to retaining pigment. They either reject the pigment or they really cling on to the pigment. So we'll need to come up with a sensible treatment plan for you, maybe add in multiple sessions in order to get the coverage that we want, and we will have to manage your expectations, as you may not get a perfect heal of that scar. Also, pre-care for the eyebrows, we have to bear in mind your skin, your hair growth, because every client is very different. Sometimes what you want is not going to work for your skin type and your hair growth. For example, if you have very, very bushy, full, dark, coarse hair and you want to go for a realism brow treatment, you're not really going to see the results, and it would sort of be a waste of time, because you've got so much hair growth, you're not going to see those very delicate hair strokes. So for you, I would recommend a very soft, powdery, shaded eyebrow, just to give you a background colour. The same goes for the other way around. If you've got very, very fair, light, minimal hair growth, realism brow would be perfect, because we can really create a nice fluffy brow and you'll see every individual hair stroke. We can then go on to different skin types. If you have a really thick, oily, open pore skin, again, we need to go for more of a shaded eyebrow, compared to a hair stroke eyebrow, because the sebaceous glands and the oils within your skin are not going to hold in that very crisp, fine hair stroke. So we need to really have a good chat before your treatment to find out the best treatment plan for you. We can still make the brows really natural, nice and fluffy, but we may have to take it in a different direction depending on you, your skin and your hair growth. So pre-advice before the treatment, we need to look into that. We need to assess your skin, assess your hair growth and find out what treatment plan is best for you. Another thing to think about on the lead up to your treatment is if you have very, very unsymmetrical eyebrows, if one side of your face is completely different from the other side, which is actually quite common, it all works on your bone structure and how your face is made up. We have to be realistic in how perfect we can get both eyebrows. For example, if one side of your face is much lower, it's going to be very difficult to get your eyebrows on the exact same level, as I believe we need to keep the eyebrows in tune with your face and your eyebrow hair growth. So I would advise against taking one whole eyebrow off and moving it in a complete other place, because you've got to think of long term and longevity. That's going to tie you into something for a very, very long time. And we're going to have a texture problem. It's never going to look the exact same because you're working with hair growth and then skin. So you're never going to get them exactly the same. So of course we can do our best to bring them as close as possible, but we do have to bear in mind that there's only so far that we can go in order to keep the eyebrows within your natural hair growth. The same goes moving on to just general shaping of the eyebrows. There's a few things that I wouldn't do. For example, bringing the tail really low and downward, because that is going to really accentuate the downward look of your face, which is very aging. So again, I would rather go a bit outer and keeping the end similar, parallel to the front of the brow, so you get a nice open appearance. So if you're wanting a shape that is really unflattering for your face and long term it's going to cause you problems, we would work in the other direction, try to get you a nice shape that's flattering for you, that's natural, and that long term it's going to be good. We don't want to tie you into something that's going to cause you problems in a few years down the line. So we need to think about all of these different things. Just because your friend has an eyebrow that you really like, that might not work for you. So we have to create a nice plan for your eyebrows. So doing some research on what skin type you have, looking at your hair, you know, all of this is going to really help with the treatment process. But as professionals, we are going to guide you in the direction that we think will be best for you. But just thinking about these things before will really help you in your treatment. Also for the pre-care, you have to bear in mind that we are performing a very mild form of a tattoo on the facial skin, which is much thinner than the rest of the body. So we need to make sure that we follow this pre-care. You want to avoid alcohol, blood thinners such as ibuprofen, aspirin on the lead up to your treatment for at least 48 hours, because this is going to thin your blood, which means when we cut the skin very lightly, the pigment may be pushed out and then you're not going to get the best heal. So please follow that pre-care just so you get the best heal possible. If you have a really bad headache before the treatment, you can take paracetamol, but please avoid your ibuprofen and your Nurofen based tablets. Okay, so that brings us to the close of this section. I hope that this has helped, and I will see you in the next video.